Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Mike Vogiatzakis show on this Wednesday, April the 1st, April Fool's Day. And boy, it's no joke tonight. We're going to laugh a little bit here off the start, but then we're going to get serious. And we've got some very serious things to discuss tonight as we make our way along over the next hour with Mike Vogiatzakis himself. Mike obviously preparing to run for mayor coming up in May. So we're about a month away from his, little over a month away from his paperwork needing to be submitted at the City Hall level. And then from there, campaigning will officially start. And, you know, we'll be talking about a lot of stuff tonight that Mike, holds dear and close to his heart. Mike likes to expose the real story. And tonight he'll do just that with a family that was misguided by a funeral home that is already being featured here on Marketplace for misleading and misguiding families. Now, we're going to break down exactly what happened and how you can protect your own family from falling into the same situation. And then we're going to shift gears tonight. Winnipeg has grown to over 850,000 people. That's a pretty big population for this tiny little city. The city keeps growing, but I don't know if we're keeping up pace with growth of the population. So that'll be discussed. Is that a good thing, maybe? A bad thing? Is our city growing too fast? Can it handle it? Some of the things that we're going to get into tonight. And don't forget, we're now just 1 month away from, as I mentioned, Mike officially registering as a mayoral candidate. And what does that mean for Mike? What does that mean for the city? What is that that comes next? Well, guess what? There's a lot of things that come next. And we're going to get into it tonight. From the man himself, Mr. Mike Vogiatzakis. It's coming up right here after this.
At ASAP Auto Glass Winnipeg, we know you need it repaired fast. That's why we do all the work. From contacting AutoPack and starting your claim to replacing that broken windshield, we make sure your visit is carefree with quality service you know and love. From automotive to industrial, we replace and repair. From cars, trucks, and SUVs to industrial glass, we get the job done right the first time. At ASAPAutoglass.com, our website has all the answers you're looking for when repairing or replacing your automotive glass. Winnipeg Auto Glass Repair is ASAP Auto Glass. Experts and fast. Book your appointment today.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got a great show set to go tonight. Mike, welcome back to the program. Good to have you here. I couldn't do it without you, right?
I guess if somebody got their glass broken, they could go to ASAP and get it fixed.
100%.
We got a little bit of everything happening on the show. We can, pizza, glass breaking. Our new sponsor joining us next week, the Pony Corral.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's going to be fun. Hey, we thank you for joining us on this April Fools. Did you get fooled by anybody today, Brad?
No, I didn't get fooled by anybody, but there's a lot of things that happened I noticed online today that I was kind of shocked at. I mean, you may have heard the conspiracy theories as well today. Did you hear the Jets are up for sale?
Did you? No. Did you hear that they're changing the transit system back to the way it was?
Oh, really? That's a good one. We've been fighting for that for a while. I guess you're making a difference in this city, unlike other people who run it. Trump to resign tonight. Did you hear about that one? Trump's going to resign later tonight, I heard.
No, sounds like a conspiracy theory to me.
And possibly that Joe Biden could take over as president, or if he doesn't cut it, Kamala Harris possibly.
Oh, look at that, eh?
And then, Tim Walz, that governor out of Minnesota, I heard he's going to be arrested tonight too, but he'll be sitting in a jail cell next to some Somalian people that embezzled a heckload of money.
I take it these are all April Fools?
Yeah, I'm going to assume they are because, the conspiracy theories run wild everywhere in the world these days, right? Nothing's true anymore on the internet except
I got up this morning.
Fox, CNN, CBC, CTV. You can listen to them all you want. They're telling the truth.
I got up this morning and first thing I read was they're changing the buses back to the way they were.
Yeah, I think I sent you that one too, about 7:30 or something.
I thought about it and I went, that's not happening.
No.
Let's say hi to some people. Some good news. The Winnipeg Jets, after almost being eliminated, no chance whatsoever of making the playoffs.
But?
They're 1 point away.
Didn't they get in last year? Did they win?
No, they won yesterday, but they won against the Blackhawks. Now they're 1 point away from getting into the playoffs.
So I don't want to wreck the moment here, but look, this is a wild card spot, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? Wild card's a wild card. But
Well, you got to earn the spot to be there, and a wild card just kind of get
they've
picked,
been playing some
right?
good hockey, Brad. Let's say
Have
hi
they?
to some people. Yeah,
All right.
I'm pretty impressed. They brought a couple of young guys onto the team. Seems like Taves is bringing some experience to the team.
Yeah,
Who knows?
little bit of leadership there.
Gord is the first one on the show. He keeps adding more beers every show. You figure that would be Al Bueller adding those beers, but he's too cheap.
4 for you, 4 for me. Al's too cheap. Al's not cheap. He's just drinking them himself. He's
Yeah,
smart.
Randy, welcome to the show. Hi, Mike and Brad. Randy's a good guy, always texting and keeping me up to date on things, and really upset about this whole transit
Absolutely.
thing. And Cindy, good evening. Good evening, she says. And
Cindy plays horses.
Oh, really?
See at the top, that's her name. Cindy plays horses. She probably goes.
I
to
thought
the,
she was at the racetrack right
She
now.
probably goes to the Downs all the time.
Al Bueller, good evening. Mike Vogiatzakis and Brad. Dan Ross from Ross, Manitoba. Good evening, everyone.
Debbie Lamoureux's on with us. Gloria Kay's here, as well as Gary Goodman and Kevin.
Kevin. Where's
Yeah.
Kevin from?
Canada Nano Silver.
CanadaNanoSilver.com. Get your products from Kevin
It might be
while
dot-
you have the
it's-
chance.
It might be .ca.
.ca?
Shouldn't over.
What is
shouldn't
it,
over-
Kevin.ca.com? Like, help us out here. It's nice to have Kevin on the show. Susan Alec. Hi, Mike. Brad from Wayne and Susan Alec. You're regulars. You sure are. Happy hump day. Nice to see you both.
Mike Cherry's here. Let's see. Carrie J is here as
Kathy,
well.
tickle, tickle, tickle. I saw a picture of Kathy on the internet. Gloria K.
That
Cool.
wasn't really her. That's a conspiracy.
Is it? Teresa. Teresa's on the show also. Diane. A whole bunch of people tonight.
You got to
So-
quit talking about
get-
conspiracies.
I know. What's this conspiracy stuff? What the heck's going on?
Janet Larson's here. Good evening, Janet. Gail Rathbone. Thanks for being here. Hill. I'll mention that because it's Rathbone Hill with an
Heather's on the
dash.
If you have a question that you want to ask us or something you want to bring up, Mike
Oh,
Cherry brought
great.
something
Look at
up
this. I got a
because-
whole booklet of them. No, I'm just kidding.
Mike Cherry brought something up about doing math the other day, and that was regarding the free bus fare that they want to give out to kids. So it was actually going to cost them a whole lot more than what they were saying. It's funny because this mayor and council make everything sound like it's so pretty that everything is a bed of red roses.
What, it's not?
And it's not. It's what you got to pay on top of what the government's already paying that they're not telling you about. So,
Wait till that.
and that's not conspiracy either.
What do you got? Some kind of a gas tax kicking in right away here?
Going to get your fuel in your-
$1.74 plus another 21
Crazy.
cents being added yet?
Going to get fuel
Was
these
that
days
today
is
it
quite a
started?
surprise. I think so. I seen as I was just coming on, fuel at $1.85 or something like that. Crazy.
Yeah, I saw it for $1.75 at Domo. So jump to the pump.
There you go.
Well, you got it quickly.
Let's get into it.
All right. Let's see here. Let's see. Today's a funeral home. Misguided another family. That's where we want to start, right? At
Sure.
the top?
We can start
Okay.
there. Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So I guess one thing I want to mention is that life is really uncertain. And I think you agree with that. We're all born to die, as they say. It's the life you live in between that really matters. So let's
The
talk
dash.
about
The dash.
the dash, yes. Let's talk about what really happened here, and more importantly, how families can avoid what looks like straight-out scam. Mike, what happened to this family?
I found it really important to bring this up on the show tonight. It is the Mike Vogiatzakis show, so we could talk about a whole bunch of things. While you're joining us, please like, share, and follow. We're being kind of shadow banned, and not everyone's getting us every show, and we need help. So this family went into a cemetery thinking everything was already paid for. They walked in with peace of mind in their hearts, believing arrangements were all taken care of, and they walked out with a bill for just under $20,000. The odd thing about that is
Simple cremation?
no.
No.
What happened is it was a traditional burial, but the family did pay for cemetery property, and they did pay for a liner. On top of that, the family got a bill for $20,000. So how does that happen? How does a family walk into a funeral home thinking everything is paid for, and then walk out with a just under a $20,000 bill? Family walks in, they're misguided by being told this is the biggest scam that ever hit funeral service. You need to know about it. You need to watch for it, because one thing for sure is we're all going to die. We're all going to lose a loved one. So we need to educate ourselves today for peace of mind tomorrow. Family walks in and they're told that they have to use the funeral home located on the cemetery property. So what does that do? That pushes Voyage right out of the picture because we're not there. So the family's misguided there, so they have to stay there, and they're told that they have to do all these other things: view the body, identify the body, embalm the body, buy a casket. The list goes on and on and on. But the biggest part of this is, how can somebody even theoretically, in their heart, misguide a family by saying, no, you have to use the funeral home located on the cemetery property, even though the family told them, well, we're friends with Mike Vogiatzakis. We've used them in the past. We'd like to use them again, but unfortunately, I guess these are your rules. So here's the big thing. Once I found out about this family, I actually phoned the family, offered them my condolences, and then she said, Mike, we're so sorry we can't use your services. We'd really like our mom to be in your care. And I said, well, did you know that Voyage can serve all places of worship and all cemeteries, meaning that we could go to any cemetery in the province of Manitoba? And she went, what? And I said, yeah, true story. So guess what they ended up doing today?
Switching it
They
over?
ended up switching over to Voyage Funeral Home and saving themselves almost $12,000. That's crazy. That's peace of mind. So, when you ever walk into a cemetery, you know that you don't have to use that cemetery located, the funeral home located on the cemetery property. That's a myth. It's a lie. It's salespeople telling you that so they can make more commission. You could use any cemetery you want and any funeral home you'd like. So we could do the cremation for your loved one, and you could go to any cemetery of your choice and place those cremated remains. That's something that you need to know, because it's going to happen to one of you when you lose a loved one, and now you're educated enough to say, no, we could go where we want to go to have, whether it's a traditional burial, whether it's cremation. Under the Cemeteries Act, all funeral homes are allowed to serve that cemetery. I wanted to bring that up because it's a big thing, and I'd like to change so many rules when it comes to funeral service. And I want you to know this funeral home in question that did this, they were on Marketplace already for doing this to other families, and it was thousands of people watching it. You figure they would learn their lesson. You figure they would stop taking advantage of families, stop misguiding families. But no, it happened again. It's going to happen many more times, because it's all about the money.
So if I had a question, I mean, they saved $12,000. Did you get to go out for lunch or dinner at least?
No, not yet.
No, not yet?
Not yet.
I hope you get to.
But
that's pretty big. Like that's
point of-
huge to a family, right?
For a family, the average family struggles, even if it's a simple cremation, and you come to Voyage, you're paying under $2,000, where most funeral homes are, $5,500, $6,500, $7,500 for a simple cremation. Why? Because all the gimmicks, all the lies, and the salespeople misguiding you into believing things that are not real are real, and you would never know the difference. The average family will use a funeral home once or twice in a lifetime. So, when I got into funeral service, I got into it for the right reason. That's treating your loved one as you would treat your own. That's a big statement, meaning we treat your family members as we would want our mom and dad treated. And that's why there's no sales gimmicks at our funeral home, no salespeople, no sales pitches. It's one-on-one personalized service with a licensed funeral director.
That's great. That's great. So let's jump into the next part. I guess the family doesn't need any help. It's not like they're looking for money now, because they got $12,000 in their pocket after they walked out of your office. That's pretty cool.
It's not the first time.
It's like writing a check.
It's not the first time, Brad, that we've done it. We've reimbursed families up to $12,000 for. They had a pre-plan at another funeral home. They decided to come to Voyage at the time of death, and then we realized they were planned at one of the corporate funeral homes. We write a check back for $12,000 because they overpaid by $12,000. And you know what? A company like this needs to be sued, to finally learn a lesson that enough's enough.
Greasy salespeople, right?
Terrible.
That's the bottom line.
No room for salespeople when it comes to the death industry. It's bad enough we have the governments in the death industry now.
All right, Mike. So shifting to our next topic tonight, which is something that is noticeable now here in the city. I mean, you see it when you go to the mall. You see it when you go to Costco. And I'm not talking about immigration. I'm talking about the amount of people here in Winnipeg. The city's population has gone up. I won't say dramatically, but 100,000 to Winnipeg is a dramatic number, just because that I don't know that the infrastructure can really suffice and handle it all. So I think that's something we'll talk about in a second. But Mayor Scott Gillingham says Winnipeg is growing now at 850,000 people. That's up 80,000, so almost 100. And there's probably 10,000 that aren't even counted.
Yeah.
So where are we at? Why? What's going on with this all, Mike? And is that really success?
I think it sounds impressive, Brad, until you look at the reality. And can Winnipeg actually handle that growth? No, the city's already struggling to take care of the people that are already here. And I think that the people that are already here are the people who are important right now. This has nothing to do with pushing people aside or, choosing which race should be here or who has the right to be here or not. We need to take care of the people who are here now. And once we take care of those people, once we have people off the streets when it comes to homelessness, families aren't hungry, people aren't struggling, then we can look at opening up the doors and saying, yeah, come on in, we can handle you. And we're going to talk more about other crises that are happening during this. And it gets to be really scary when you think about it, especially when you have to go to a hospital these days.
Do you think Winnipeg can handle this growth?
I think they can't right now. I think what we're seeing on the ground is, potholes destroying vehicles. We're seeing bridges closed.
Okay, some of that's always been there. That doesn't really affect a lot of people being here, and I guess it increases driving.
Yeah, we're seeing transit not working the way it should be. That's
a big one. Yeah,
seniors choosing between food and medication because it's coming down. Food banks are stretched to the limit. The food banks have never been as busy as they are today. Addictions, crime, completely out of control. Families unable to afford housing. The cost of living rising as fast as you can imagine. People feel like they're suffocating. And to me, that's...
I think you mentioned it, that the hospitals, or ERs are overwhelmed, the doctors, the whole medical system is overwhelmed a bit too. And, that's all noticeable in your daily lives. You see the lineups getting longer, you see the prices going up. But then again, all of the infrastructure within that too has taxes going up on, and there's new added fees to everything. So all of a sudden, water, natural gas, it's all kind of expanding, right? So as we get up there in those costs, do you think Winnipeggers can handle it? Now, we're not talking about the city infrastructure. They'll be able to handle it, but will
I
the
think
Winnipeggers
are in trouble. The average family that goes, I talked to a young mother the other day who got her check from social assistance, struggling, lost her job after working there for 10 years at a law firm, told that she was replaced by AI. And she said she went to the store to buy groceries and walked out with a little tiny bag that cost her $200, not even enough to really feed her family. So are people feeling it? They're feeling it in all kinds of ways. And the struggle's real, whether you're talking about moving around the city in a vehicle, whether you're talking about going shopping.
That's right.
It's something people are feeling. The kids are feeling it going to school. Everything is getting tighter. What used to take you, let's just say if I was at Voyage Funeral Home on Henderson Hespler, to drive to Polo Park would take me, 20 minutes. That's an hour drive now.
Yeah.
So things are really changing, and the city is becoming overwhelmed.
Well, I wanted to talk about things like rent as well. I think rent
is completely out of control, and try to find a place.
I saw a story online today about slumlords and things like that going on in the city. What do you know about that sort of stuff?
Well, I think there's a lot of slumlords in the city taking advantage of families that are struggling. And
so, as the acting mayor, if you ever get to have that opportunity, when? Okay, sorry, when? I didn't want to be negative. I didn't want to be too positive either. I don't want to get the ruffles feathered down there at City Hall and say the wrong thing. So,
yeah.
But the reality here is that what have you got for something there to help out with this? I mean, you're already structuring some of that in your mind, but I mean, give them a little taste.
Brad, I just can't do that yet. I have to wait till May, and we're going to talk about that later on we're going to talk about what it takes to register to become a mayor of a city and what rules you need to follow. And I just want to be really careful how I let things out so, City Hall doesn't think I'm campaigning beforehand and all of a sudden I get eliminated and said, hey, you broke the rules, you're gone.
I understand. I'm glad you explained that for everybody because we haven't really explained that before until just now, so that's a good thing. Now, homelessness is a big issue here in Winnipeg. There's no doubt about that, and there's a lot going on.
It's no longer hidden. It's growing, it's spreading, and now it's part of the daily life across this whole entire city. So not only do you feel it, you see it. And then when you look at an 80,000 person growth, how many of those people have come here and realized that they can't
it's not the
live
place.
affordably.
It's not the place they thought it was. It wasn't the place that was promised. I mean, they were promised, a chance at being successful in a career, and the lineups now to get a job are horrendous. I mean, we're seeing 80 vendors show up at a youth job fair in a place like Calgary, and the lineup to get in is 4 hours long, Mike.
Well, how about Winnipeg? I mean, I have a lot of friends who have kids, Josh's age, 24, and their kids cannot find a job if they tried. So is that because, there's a hiring thing in place?
I didn't have that excuse when I was a kid, but I sure
No.
wished I did at times, right? But it wasn't there for us.
It seems like a lot of our kids, 24, 25, 30, 35, are struggling to find jobs now, and it's going to get harder. There's AI replacing people. There's foreign workers coming in, taking a lot of the jobs. And I'm not criticizing anyone. I mean, everyone has a right to work and live, but we need to take care of Canadians first. That is so important that we take care of what we have before we bring more.
We're breaking down Canadian kids by doing this at this point. They're not getting a fair shake, and I think that they deserve that.
And that's when you lose hope. You
Well,
lose hope,
that's
you
right.
lose faith, and the younger generation turns to addictions. They turn to suicides. They turn to all kinds of things. Because listen,
Prices go up. They can't afford, right?
when you can't eat,
What happens when you can't afford? That's what I'm getting
you can't
at.
eat, you
Yeah.
get desperate. And
Whether it's a pack of gum or whether it's a bag of chips or whether it's a steak dinner, it doesn't matter.
and
It's
we're
the
seeing
same
crime
thing.
rise across the city, break-ins, people violating people's properties because they need money. And, it's money that makes this world turn. And we need to make sure that this younger generation has employment. Some of them go to university. They get out of university and they've studied for a career, and all of a sudden they realize that career no longer exists for them. And I think we're going to see more and more of that happening with AI. I have a friend, his wife worked for a law firm for 15 years. She went in one day, they gave her a 2 weeks notice, and she was replaced by AI. She answered phones. Now AI is answering phones for that law firm.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are going to be facing that, and there's so many different places that can replace you with someone else.
Absolutely, there is. Absolutely. Mr. Mayor's been traveling around the city, hasn't he, Mike? He's been heading out in a boat and around and around, and taking some photos and some photo opportunities, and really getting himself involved in the community a little bit now all of a sudden.
Isn't that funny? Because, for 3 years, nobody knew who Scott Gillingham was. I mean, he could have walked into a crowded mall and nobody would have known he was the mayor.
Yeah.
But now, a year before an election, he's out there more than he's ever been before. He's campaigning. But it's funny how a mayor can campaign, but a candidate who wants to become mayor or run in the race, has rules and regulations to follow. So why aren't we putting down the hammer and say, hey, you're campaigning right now? That's exactly what he's
he
doing.
has rules and regulations too, but the incumbent mayor is what they call that. So if he's the incumbent mayor, he gets to have a little bit of special privilege.
And that's why it's hard to beat an incumbent mayor.
It is.
They say it's almost impossible to beat an incumbent mayor, and it's only happened a few times. And hopefully we're going to make it happen again right here in Winnipeg by growing a movement that's joined together to make change for your families, for your kids and your grandkids, to create more jobs, to create better situations like better streets and safer streets. And there's so much. I can go on and on and on. But part of my platform is creating jobs in Winnipeg.
Sure. Now, I was getting to Mr. Mayor being out there celebrating. So what's being celebrated then, Mike?
That's the problem, Brad. Growth without a plan. That's the thing. Anybody could grow a city, but if you don't have a plan on what you're going to do with the people when they get into that city, growth without infrastructure, growth without leadership, that's not success, Brad. That's failure on a very, very large scale.
Absolutely. So what do you think growth actually looks like, Mike?
More people should mean a stronger city. And other cities have shown us how to do that. That means better roads, better services, safer communities, affordable living. Instead, we're seeing more pressure everywhere. And it's starting to break the system. And that's a serious problem. Instead of growing and being successful and moving forward and going, hooray, we got all these people, businesses are thriving, and our kids have work and our roads are perfect. It's the opposite.
Right.
So sometimes when you have this many people coming in and you don't have a plan, it's not success in any way.
So that, I guess, falls now under the leadership kind of a category. So leadership matters. Leadership is everything in a sense. Without proper leadership, direction isn't handed down properly to be able to get the job done.
I think leadership is not just standing at a podium, making announcements and talking about numbers. It's about results. People feeling safe. Seniors being cared for, which is not happening right now. We need to take care of our seniors. Families able to afford their lives. That's a big thing. And if you don't have that, what do you have?
So what's the real question Mayor Gillingham should be asking, Mikey? There's got to be a big one
Mayor
there,
Gillingham
isn't
should
there?
be asking, are people better off? That's the big question. Are people better off?
And what's the honest answer now?
If you step outside City Hall and really listen, they're not better off. Winnipeg doesn't need a spin. It needs truth. It needs accountability, Brad. It needs leadership that faces reality head on, because what we're seeing right now isn't growth.
Right.
It's a city being stretched past the breaking point, and everyone can feel it. You could feel it who are watching the show. People riding transit could feel it. People who are on our roads could feel it. People that are going to the grocery store or getting fuel. You could feel the pressure of the city collapsing. And sometimes, the water bills have gone up. Garbage has gone up. Taxes have gone up. It feels like so much is on people's shoulders that they don't know what to do with it and they're ready to break. So when do they get that break, Brad?
Great question, Mike. I'm not sure. It's got to come sometime soon. I mean, what did he get up and say? Wob said last week he's going to take off the PST or the GST? It was PST.
It's taking a PST off. But
yeah, what is that like? How many percentage is that point?
Yeah, when you look at PST, what's PST? It's very little when you're going into a grocery store. And if you're going to take PST off, take it off everything. As a matter of fact, get rid of the GST and PST and help our province through this inflation, through the suffering, through the suffocation that they're going through,
Didn't PST stand for provincial suffering tax?
Yeah, I think so.
So he gave us a little bit of a break there on that. Now, look, I saw another picture. I'm going to bring this up. I know it's not kind of anything we planned, but I'll bring this up because I saw a picture of, was it Brian Pallister or was it the other guy?
Brian Pallister.
It was. What was he doing in town?
Well, they were
another big photo op,
a big
right?
portrait. I mean, let's
flew in from Costa Rica for that shot.
Yeah,
or
like
what?
we don't have money for anything else. I mean, let's pay for a portrait to be done of Brian Pallister, and on you, the taxpayers.
Let's go to the comments for a minute. Somebody's talking about me pretty heavily.
About you?
Yeah, about me. Look,
you?
who is this Brad Wilder guy? How come you don't know him? All this nonsense. I don't know what's going on.
Brad Wilder is the host of the Mike Vogiatzakis show. Brad Wilder also does his own show.
Yeah, Wake Up Canada News. You can see us at wakeupcanadanews.com. We're on Rumble, BitChute, YouTube,
and Brad
Facebook.
is a great announcer. Brad worked in radio for many years.
All medias, radio, TV, newspaper, all of them.
The reason Brad's here is because he adds to the show. He creates the
yeah.
show. We do it together.
I just like to keep Mike challenged, and I know you do at home as well. So it's good to be able to hold him to account, and I'm hoping that we can all do that if he ever makes it, when he makes it into City Hall.
What is it? What else does it say in the?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just stopped reading it, but
So,
we'll go back.
I want to answer Harold here because obviously Harold hasn't been paying attention. Harold, my plan is a solid plan, and it really bothers me when people say this. They say it over and over again, and Harold's bringing it to the show here. But Harold, it was nice of you to join us on the show. First of all, we really appreciate having you here. But it's good, Harold, that you're bringing this up. Mike, what is your actual plan besides criticizing what the mayor is doing?
You're just another PP, Pierre Poilievre.
Listen, if we don't have the conversation, Harold, the conversation about what's wrong in the city, what we need to fix, what's broken, then the city will never change. Until you get a guy like myself who's stepping outside the box to ask you, the citizens, what's wrong? What can we make better? How can we make the city more livable? How can we keep your kids here after they leave university? It's about starting a conversation. That's what I've been doing for 2 years now. Harold, if you're not educated in this, I'll tell you, my brother Kyriakis was murdered in this very city. And in his memory, I said I would make change. I would stand up in his memory and try to make the city a better city with a better future. And that's what I'm doing. So to go further to answer your question, we're talking about May. In May, you're going to hear no more complaining. What you're going to hear is solutions, because I'll be a registered candidate for mayor in the city of Winnipeg.
29 days in counting, or 30
Now
days?
we can start talking about solutions, baby. And Harold, I would suggest you come back.
Yeah.
Because there's some solutions that are going to be incredible for the city. I have real solid solutions. They're not illusions, they're solutions.
And there's real funding to back it, and real budgets to back it, and everything else. There's a plan that Mike brings to the table, and I've seen parts of it, not all of it, but I know that what I've seen is very upfront, and it's going to pave a path for Winnipeg that provides a safe future for our children and our great-grandchildren and our grandchildren, really. Mike, you just said something there I think that matters too, that May 1st is where we get to talk about how it all ends, and we start talking about the accountability begins. So let me ask you this. People are hearing you. They're seeing your posts. They're watching the movement grow, meaning that people are, listening, and they're hearing and seeing, they're commenting, they're liking, they're sharing. But they're also asking, what's the plan? So what happens after May 1st? What are you actually going to show the people of Winnipeg? You mentioned it just a minute ago, what that plan is, but there's always a question, I think, that you kind of got to get to at some point, which is, you can have a great plan, you can call yourself a leader, and a lot of others before you have tried the same thing.
Correct.
I think part of that is driven by the fact that those individuals needed the job, needed the money, wanted the power to come that goes with it, in a sense, if there is power in that position.
Right.
Do you believe in power? Do you believe in the money that you need? Do you need that money to be able to suffice?
I'm going to say this. I have a very good profession that I'm involved in. I run a very successful funeral home. We have
several.
4 locations.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you something right now. I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone. My comfort zone is being a licensed funeral director and embalmer in the province of Manitoba. I'm stepping outside the box, not because I need the money, because I already make that money. I'm stepping outside the box because I want to make change for your kids, your grandkids, your future in this city. And I want to be there to make change that no one's ever made. I want to go down in history for the things that I'm going to do in this city that are going to bring positive change and bring this city back to life. And that's what we need, a mayor who cares, a mayor who's doing it from his heart, not for financial reasons. Something else I want you to know. I can't be bought. I can't be sold. I won't be involved in corruptions. I will be your mayor, your voice in City Hall. That's important for you to know.
Absolutely it is. And like I said, others have done it for those purposes, but you're not. And that's another thing. It's about compassion. It's about leadership. It's about doing the right thing. It's about bringing the money into a realm that actually helps the people of Winnipeg rather than just keep spending.
And you know, Brett, something else that I'm going to do, since we're talking about this, I'll be open about this. I'm going to have an open book policy. And an open book policy means you have a right to know where your money is being spent. And we'll have accountants looking at the books and, seeing what's going on, where it's going wrong, and how we could fix it.
So real issues, real solutions, backed by what we call real numbers, right?
Yeah.
Not theory at all. You're not just throwing this together off the top of your head. Let's talk about the people that you surround yourself with. Obviously, no, I'm just kidding. Not me, but the rest. There's a bigger team than one or two, right?
There's a team of advisors. There's a team of people guiding me. We're going back and forth with my plan. We're talking about it. We're making it perfect. So when I let my platform out, not only will I have a great platform, but I will have all the answers to your questions when you ask them. There's going to be some things that I'm going to say. They're going to knock people right off their feet because it hasn't happened in years in the city. I want you to know something. I care about the city. I was born and raised in the city, and a guy was knocking me the other day about immigration. Oh, you're against immigration, and you don't believe in immigrants, and you don't give them a chance. You're talking to the wrong person. I come from an immigrant family. My parents came here in 1963 for a better life. I know about immigration. I know about the struggles that my family went through and times we barely had food on the table. But my parents sat here and they fought the good fight. And I was brought up on Toronto Street, and I went to school in the city. I was raised in the city, or my family grew up in the city. And you know what? I will fight for the city with every little bit of strength that I have in my body to make it a better city and to help people get through. People with mental health, people with addictions, people with all kinds of things going on wrong in their lives. We're going to make it better for you. We really are. This is going to be a city that you are going to be proud of. And I want you to know one other thing, Brad, since we're on the topic. You're not talking to a politician. I'm not a politician. I will never be a politician. I'm a businessman, and I'm going to run this city like a business needs to be run.
Which is what?
Which is, proper books. It's open door policies. It's about making decisions that I would make in my business that help people move forward tomorrow.
Wait a minute. Did you not say backroom deal?
No, that's another April Fool's joke.
Oh, okay.
There would never be a backroom deal with me. As a matter of fact, there's going to be some things that I want to do with City Council that's going to change everything there too.
Do you like to spend money?
I like to spend money on the proper things. I like to save money. When I, as a businessman, when I go out and I need, for example, a garage door. One of our employees ran into our door at the funeral home the other day.
Sure toasted it.
Knocked the door down, broke it all. I didn't make the kid pay for it. What I did is I went out and I searched for the best deal that I could get. Broke both of his legs. What I did is I went out and looked for the best deal I could possibly get to replace that door in the most professional manner proper. So what makes the city of Winnipeg so different? We should be getting the best price. We should stop with, I don't consult every single person for everything that I do. Well, let me go spend, $5,000 on consulting Brad on why or where I should get this door from. It would make sense to hang this door.
I sure wish you did, but you're not that guy. You're
Listen,
right.
If anybody knows the answer to Winnipeg, it's Winnipeggers. People who've lived here their whole lives, people who've struggled, people who
I don't think you've been away on more than one vacation in your whole life. You've been here the whole time. You were here the whole time I was gone for 25 years.
And the thing is, and it's lasted a while. I've been right across Canada. I've been Edmonton, Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, and I've been checking out how they're doing things in those cities. What are they doing different? I've been to the States. I've been everywhere just to make sure that we could be part of that. We could be the new you. We could be leading by example and saying, maybe it's falling apart all across Manitoba, Canada.
I don't mean to be rude. I know you're not a politician and you're not into politics, but let me ask you something. I think this is another great question that maybe the public would like to hear about and talk about for just a second, and that is, there's 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 political students coming out of colleges and universities across this country every single year. And with those students, some of them bring some excellent knowledge about what's transpired, where that's going in the future, what's happening, and so on and so on. Yeah. So what makes a business guy in a suit and tie better than the political student who should really be is looking for the same job that you are and has the experience and the at least the training to get into it? You know
what? Listen, when I got out of mortuary school as a funeral director, I had a lot of book experience.
Sure.
Book smart, right? But when I got into the real world and I was working in a funeral home, let me tell you something, that changed really quickly because you had to learn what it was like to work at a funeral home, what it was like to embalm a body, what it was like to work with a family, stuff that books could never teach you. And that goes for a lot of things these days. You're taught something in school, you get out to the real world and you go, what? This is nothing that I've been taught in school. Yes, I encourage young students to get into politics and to experience what they've been taught in school, get into the real world and learn about it. But when a guy like me steps forward who has no political experience, I'm doing it with heart. I'm doing it with compassion. I'm doing it with care. I'm doing it because I've lived real life experiences. I've run a business for years and years and years, just the funeral home alone, 27 years. And the things I've been taught through funeral service, I will bring into City Hall.
Does that include accountability?
Accountability is one of the biggest things I've been taught into funeral service. I can tell you one thing. You will never find a guy who's more passionate about the city than myself. A guy who cares, a guy who loves the city, a guy who lost his own brother in the city, a guy whose parents came here with nothing and built a life for us. And that's the Canadian dream. That's the dream Manitobans have had for years. And we want to bring that back where your kids can also carry on that dream and raise their kids right here in Winnipeg. Instead of, I have a friend who, put his kid through university. And He finally got out of med school. What's the first thing he did? He left Winnipeg because there was nothing here for him. We want to keep our people that graduate from med schools and from nursing and from all the things people graduate from right here in Winnipeg so they could better our city.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just not a reality of Canada these days. These kids are going and getting their piece of paper, and then they're
Moving on.
having trouble finding the right position, and they are moving on, and they're having a chance to go other places, to other countries, and live their life somewhere else, not even in Canada. So, one thing that politicians love to do, Mike, and even broadcasters for that matter, you'll see it on CNN, CBC, Fox, CTV, is they talk to people, and they talk at people versus talking with people.
Yeah.
Communication's a big part of going forward, and I think that you're open to having those talks, but it's really connecting with that individual who's talking to you. Sometimes Brad, hey, wait a minute, that kind of thing, and that kind of thing can fly with me, but how does it fly with somebody you're standing out in the public with? You can't necessarily react the same way. So this personality of Mike Vogiatzakis and listening, and my ears are always open. One of the things I think we got right here with you on the picture is leads with kindness this time. But there is one that we've got that says I listen or something, or I'm listening, right? Yeah. So we know that you're listening, but again, are you pretty set in your ways? Like, are people going to have to really convince you? Do we have to go over the top to say, come on?
Yeah, listen, even in funeral service, I've been doing this for 27 years. I'm always open to change. I'm always open to discussion. What's going to make it better for the families who walk through the door? And when I get into City Hall, like, I don't know all the answers. I won't know all the answers. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do something different that you're going to notice in my campaign. So when it comes to talking about budgets, when it comes to talking about money, I'm going to have an accountant standing beside me who knows those numbers, who has the proper answers, who can tell you what you want to hear because he knows. That's the difference between me and someone else. If I don't know the answer, be assured I'm going to let you know I don't know the answer. I'm not going to pretend to know it. I don't want to talk at you. I want to talk with you. And that's something you're going to notice about me. I talk with my heart. And sometimes that gets me in trouble, but it's a real person. If you want a real mayor, if you want a real person leading the city, not somebody who's make-believe, not somebody who's doing it for the money, not somebody who's doing it for conspiracy or for the pleasure of growth. I'm doing it because I care about the city. That's the bottom line. Listen, I don't need this job. I have a job. And when I'm done being mayor, I'll still have a job. So think of it this way. You're getting somebody who's stepping outside of his box to make change for a city, to better a city, to better your lives and the future of Winnipeg.
You're going to make, you said no backroom deals, of course.
I don't need to make a backroom deal.
No, is your campaign based around some of those,
so
like a backroom
My campaign is about straight talk. The people who are gonna guide me and help me, it's straight talk. Real truth answers, real solutions to real problems. That's how it's going to be. Our meetings, when we move forward, can be recorded and showed to the public for all I care. There's no lies. There's no conspiracy. There's no backroom deals. It's all about you, the citizens of Winnipeg. That's the bottom line.
Okay. This isn't ever going to be about left and right. It's going to be about right and wrong. Is that fair to say?
Let me see here. I think it's always going to be about, it's never going to be about left and right because I'm not a politician. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a PC. I'm in the middle. I'm not an NDP. What I do is stand for the citizens of the city, and that's you. I'm not politically connected. As far as I'm concerned, the best mayor you could ever have running your city is somebody who's not politically connected, who doesn't have to answer to left or right or whatever the case may be. I answer to the citizens, just like when I'm working at the funeral home, I answer to the families. So it's all about the families that come in and how we can help them and
stand up and change it.
Exactly. I'm kind of lost here, so
that's okay. So what comes up after May 1st? We've got some things that are going to happen. Some of it's pretty simple. Obviously, the truth comes out. The plan comes out. Winnipeg gets to decide. Obviously, you're looking for as many people to vote as possible,
right.
and that sort of scenario. People getting to know your name, people, supporting you, people trying to, I guess, give you that advantage over the incumbent mayor so that you can get into a position of helping the people rather than, continuing what's gone on for how many years now? Is it 2 or every 4?
It's every 4 years.
And he can run back to back for 8 years in a row if he wants.
He can run as many times as year. I think Sam Case was here for 12 years.
12 years. That's a pretty good run for Sam, isn't it?
Yeah.
For anybody, for that matter. I mean, mayors, they typically come and go in places. We've seen Calgary's mayor turn over many, many times, but
I think Brad, people are sick and tired of talk. That's the bottom line. They want direction. They want solutions to real problems. They want leadership. And here's the truth. I could stand here tonight and start throwing out promises. That's easy to do. That's what politicians do. They throw out promises, and whatever they catch you with, they get you with. But I'm not doing that, because once I register on May 1st, now everything I say becomes official. Now it's not a conversation anymore like we've been doing. It's now a commitment to the citizens of Winnipeg. So what's going to happen from May 1st forward? That's a big question. I will begin releasing my platform. So the people who've been waiting, like Michelle, I'll release my platform, and it's going to be powerful. And I'll do it piece by piece with real issues, real solutions, backed by real numbers. This isn't going to be theory. This is going to be reality. We're going to talk about public safety. We're going to talk about healthcare pressures. We're going to talk about transit, infrastructure, affordability, support for seniors, opportunities for youth, and yes, accountability at City Hall. And I'm just not going to talk to people, Brad. I'm going to listen. And that's a big thing. I'm going to listen, because the campaign isn't being built in a back room, like you said. It's been built by real people of the city of Winnipeg by starting the conversation for the last 2 years. And here's what I want to say to everybody watching, and I want you to understand. This is not about left or right. Not at all. This is about what's right and wrong. And to me, that's a big thing. This is about whether a city continues down the path that it's on. And in my opinion, the path that the city's on is a path of destruction. Or whether we stand up and make change. And I think that's what every citizen wants. They want us to join together, make change to the transit system, make change to our streets, make change to anything we could do to better Winnipeg. So if you're asking what's coming after May 1st, it's simple. The truth comes out. And that's the big thing. The plan comes out. And Winnipeg gets to decide. Winnipeg gets to decide who they want as their next mayor. And be assured, there's not going to be 1 or 2 or the incumbent mayor. There'll probably be 10 or 15 people who are going to decide they want to run for mayor. Some will do it for the money. Some will do it for fame. Some will do it to better their lives as far as popularity goes. Mike Vogiatzakis is the real deal. He's doing it to be there for you and your families. That's the bottom line.
All right, Mike, that story is hard to process. A young man comes into Winnipeg for work and family. He leaves with a permanent brain damage and multiple amputations. This is a medical issue at Concordia, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Concordia.
What happened, Mike?
Brad, this is one of those cases that makes you shake your head. We're talking about a 23-year-old man. His name was Zachary. Healthy, engaged to be married, working as a Red Seal journeyman bricklayer. He comes to Winnipeg. He gets sick, goes to Concordia Hospital, and his life changes forever and ever. According to the statement of claim, he had flu-like symptoms, difficulty breathing, was diagnosed with hypoxia and influenza B. That's serious, but it's treatable.
Things went wrong somewhere. Do you know where they went wrong?
According to the lawsuit, everything changed when he was incubated and given a sedative called, I think it's called Propofol. Propofol. Now, this is where it gets alarming. The claim states he received between 12 to 60 times the appropriate dosage. Let that sink in. Think about it. Instead of receiving what would be considered a safe, controlled amount, the allegation is that he was given the entire 1,000 milligram container in about 23 minutes.
That's not a small amount, is it, Mike?
Catastrophic is the right word.
Catastrophic.
And that's a word I have trouble saying. Catastrophic. The claim says he went from into cardiac arrest, which you can imagine given how much medication. When that happened, the brain is deprived of oxygen, and that led to permanent brain damage, so brain injury. But it didn't stop there. He also suffered such severe complications that he had to have both legs amputated. Imagine that, below the knee, and his right hand amputated. Brad, this young man will never live independently again. He cannot communicate. He requires 24/7 care for the rest of his life, and that's horrible.
Well, it sure is. I mean, that's a sad situation. And then what happens is there going to be now criminal charges and investigation? What is there?
Yeah, according to the statement of claim, yes. It says the hospital defendants, Concordia Hospital, Shared Health, that's the WRHA, confirmed there was an error. So they're actually confirming there was an error before they even get to court. There was a critical incident disclosure that was sent to a family in April of 2024. And later in September, they allegedly told the family that he received the entire bottle in a short period of time. Now, I want to say this very clear. There's no allegations here. This is before the courts. There has been no statement of defense filed yet, and nothing has been proven in a court of law.
So it is allegations then?
Right now it's allegations, but at the same time, the hospital and the regional health authority,
the hospital's confirmed it.
They've confirmed that, yes, this person died by given an overdose of 1,000 milligrams. Like, gee, can you imagine how much that is?
Do you sue the doctor? Do you sue the nurse? Who do you go after?
That's tough. I think you go after the regional health authority.
Whoever injected?
Whoever injected. I don't know what they're protected under, but it means their lives have changed forever, Brad. The family's now suing for damages, as you can imagine. And they're punitive damages.
So should the person who did this and caused this be suffered for the rest of their life too?
It was
That's
done in error.
I'm throwing a tough question, man. I know.
It was done in error. Sometimes healthcare workers are overworked, especially in today's society.
We see that in this province a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
And that's why they quit and go to other places, right?
Yeah. And here's another layer, of course. The government of Alberta is also involved because they're seeking to recover costs of medical care provided, and they will need this to be going forward. So think about it. It's we're not only dealing with Manitoba, we're dealing with another province. This isn't just your typical tragedy. This has become a lifetime financial, emotional, and medical burden, and that's huge.
So you deal with families at the most vulnerable moments of their lives, Mike. What goes through your mind hearing something like this?
Everything comes down to trust, Brad. When you walk into a hospital, you're putting your life in someone else's hands. You don't question the dosage. You don't double-check medications. You trust the system. You trust the doctor, and you think they're educated enough to do the right thing. And when something like this is even alleged, it shakes the public's confidence because people start asking real questions. Could this happen to me?
Right.
Could this happen to my family? And those are real serious questions, and everybody thinks about that. And I think the hospital is pretty much always covered. Could you sue a hospital? I don't know.
It has happened, right? But it takes years. It takes years. It can break a family financially before they ever get to court. And, then again, there is GoFundMe still. So, people are be able to use that and do the right thing and get that support.
Ryan says accountability in our healthcare system is needed, and the medical error is high on the death scale. As a funeral director, I could tell you that there's many family members who've come in after going to the hospital, and one of our funeral directors who worked at Voyage went to St. Boniface Hospital. He went in with chest pains. They tested him. They kept him there for a couple hours after he waited 12 hours in the emergency room. And then they released him, saying everything is fine. You'll be okay. Take a couple 80 milligram aspirins if you're feeling that pain again, and come back and see us. So Mike was working at the crematorium. I've shared this story before. He's working with my son Josh at the crematorium, and all of a sudden, he holds his chest.
Dun, dun, dun.
Boom! He falls at the crematorium and has a stroke, a full stroke.
Yeah.
And Josh panics, calls 911. They rush him over to Selkirk General Hospital. I got to give a shout out to Selkirk Hospital. They did an incredible job with Mike, and that's why he's alive today.
I want to give a shout out to Josh just for doing the right thing.
Yeah, Josh
that
did the
night.
right
That
thing.
was exactly right.
If it wasn't for Josh, Mike would be dead. And why? Because hospital error. They let Mike go. They told him he was okay. He trusted the hospitals, and he would have been dead. So now he's okay because, the crematorium is minutes away from Selkirk Hospital.
You said it a minute ago. You said hospitals make mistakes, and is that a mistake too?
I think what's happening is the doctors and nurses are so overwhelmed. You look at it.
There's steps that can be missed.
Yeah, there's 30-hour waits in these emergency rooms. You should always get a second opinion.
So we're rushing through standard operating procedures to kind of get a result and get them in and out as fast as possible.
And that's what you see. It's easy.
That next car or that next French fry has to go out the window, right? Keep them coming. It's like a fast
How many
food
people are dying
drive-thru.
in emergency, right in the emergency room?
That's just it. Some are dying in the hallways.
And we talked about the 80,000 extra people in Manitoba. Well, when you talk about 80,000 people, and a majority of them using the hospitals, you're going to have wait times that are incredible. And
we have foreign people who have come here, and it's not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm saying to you that they get here and they've never had this kind of healthcare system before. So they're learning along the way. It takes them a little extra longer to fill out that paperwork. It takes them a little extra long to communicate with a doctor properly.
And
English
Brad,
is a second language
people,
or even a third language.
A lot of these people are going into hospitals with non-emergency.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm getting at. They don't realize
pains and whatever.
Right.
Oh, I have to go to the hospital.
I have a headache. I have my ears infected, or I've got a nosebleed.
About this young guy we were talking about, there are two things I want to talk about. First is compassion. There needs to be compassion for the family. This family is living a nightmare right now.
Well, sure.
No matter how this case plays out in court, their reality doesn't change. Second is accountability. And we talk about accountability. If mistakes were made again and again, that's for the courts to decide. Then there must be transparency with accountability together, because in healthcare, mistakes just don't cost money. They cost lives. They cost futures. And they cost everything to a family.
Now, we got to rip through this last little segment here, Mike, because it's showtime is coming to an end. So let's get this done.
That was a fast hour.
It sure was. Now, this is the developing case, and we'll all continue to follow it as we move through the courts, obviously, with it. So what's that case about? What are you talking about?
Well, this is the same case that's developing through what's going
Oh,
through
it
the courts.
is. It
So
is
we're
going through the courts.
We're going to see the end of what happens and how this family is treated. Bottom line is this young gentleman, his life has changed forever.
Well, absolutely.
Because of an error in the hospitals.
Even the hospital worker's life has changed forever.
Forever. No hospital, no nurse or doctor wants to make a mistake like that.
That's right.
No nurse or doctor wants to see a patient die. When you become a healthcare worker, you do it for the right reason, and that's to help people.
You mentioned it. It was compassion. It was compassion too for people. They've seen people get treated poorly at a hospital. And
we can only imagine.
I could go work there, and I could do better than them.
Yeah, we can only imagine what these doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers see on an average day in a hospital. Patient after patient.
Before we wrap up tonight, can we talk about merit-based system? What are your thoughts on the merit-based system? Is that something that we need to? I mean, I see it happening in the United States. Donald has said that many times that he wants to get back to a merit-based system. So a merit-based system means that you're educated, you're trained, you're ready to go, and it's not just because you're there and you fit the profile. What are your thoughts about that here in Manitoba? And anybody in Canada for that matter.
Well, I think a merit system is good, and I think you need to fit the job description, not just the profile.
Well, that's it, right?
And that's a serious thing. And there's too many people coming from too many different countries who have papers. They mean nothing really here in Canada.
Well, you can buy paperwork in another country like India and get it. It's all forged.
But they've caught doctors already here doing that.
Right.
As a matter of fact, they caught a chiropractor the other day practicing being a chiropractor who's not even a chiropractor.
Yeah.
And so we have an issue, and we need to get on top of this issue before we lose more lives.
And again, there's a training process, I think, that goes through when you get here. As a foreigner, you have to go through a process to start that job by maybe retraining yourself to how to work on an engine, for example, at an airport, or on an airplane, or maybe you have to be retrained to be a surgeon or a nurse or a doctor.
You need
right?
to when you
have
come
to,
here,
right?
you need to be retrained.
Yeah.
Something else I want to get off this topic for a minute
But
because
do they get hired before their training? Are they in training and hired all at the same time? That's what I want to know. Or are they going through the training and then being
did
hired
they pass
after?
exams at least?
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, like
But I want to talk about something else.
that's how mistakes are made, Mike.
Exactly. I want to talk about something else that's really important.
Yeah.
Good Friday's coming up.
It is.
And I want you to remember the true meaning of Good Friday and why Good Friday is Good Friday. And Easter is not about Easter bunnies and eggs. The real reason for this season is Jesus. And don't forget that. I want to wish you all a Good Friday, a happy Good Friday, and the best Easter you could possibly
I'm still
have.
eating the Cadbury eggs, buddy.
Spend it with your family,
Creamy
spend it
milk.
loving people, and don't forget the real meaning of Easter. God bless you and your families. Take care of yourselves and each other. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Mike Vogiatzakis Show. Brad, thanks for your professionalism and your broadcasting standards.
Yes, thank you, Mike.
Good night, everyone.
Happy Easter, everybody. We'll see you soon. 1 week from today, we'll be back. And what's going on with that? Before we go, ask the funeral director.
Here's a big thing. Ask the funeral director.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
do
know.
one a month, remember?
What we're going to do soon is, my wife Sharon's going to come on the show.
No way.
And
Really?
I asked her today, well, when can I announce that you're coming? And she goes, well, soon. So I'm going to have her on the show, and she's going to talk about healthcare because her dad is going through the system. And I want you to hear it firsthand from someone else. And then she's going to tell you what she thinks about her husband running
So
for
that's
mayor.
maybe a good. Is that a good place to do that on Ask a Funeral Director? Or were you talking
No,
about the
we're
Mike
going to do it on the
Vogiatzakis
Mike Vogiatzakis Show. So ask the funeral director. We're going to wait for that for a bit, and because serious things are going to be coming down now, May 1st. The mayor campaign comes out, a whole bunch of things. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, folks. Good night.
Take care.